What up, y'all? It's Pilgrim once again. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you ain't done so already. There's been a lot of tensions I didn't know about between Israel and Iran in the Mediterranean Sea this past couple weeks. Apparently, it might be boiling over soon to where the UK, the US, and Israel will all be invading Iran and attacking them at the same time. The article I got is from The Sun, and we'll go ahead and read it to you guys. Dramatic rise in tit-for-tat hits in Israel-Iran shadow war. At sea, its feared attacks could lead to open conflict, and it says, at least 20 civilian ships have been attacked by mines, drones, and commandos over the past 6 months during this undeclared conflict. So here's a map and kind of like a timeline of events of everything that's been happening. And here's an Iranian Navy ship after an explosion in the quote-unquote engine room. Analysis conducted by The Telegraph claims that the number of attacks has sharply risen since the beginning of 2021 and have escalated steadily year on year since 2019. And now security experts believe that the shadow war, acts of conflict that are done in secret between Iran and Israel, could lead to open war. The latest attack in the shadow war turned fatal last week after a British Armed Forces veteran was killed in a kamikaze drone strike. And this is why I'm saying the UK might most likely get involved with this Israel. It would be SAS commandos, United States Special Forces, and an Israeli military. And the article continues, father of one Adrian Underwood and an unnamed Romanian captain died on an oil tanker, MT Mercer Street off Oman, while it was on its way to the UAE. Suspicion immediately fell on Iran after the attack, but on July 31st, the country's state media claimed responsibility and said the attack was retaliation for an Israeli strike in Syria. Al-Alam TV, the Iranian government's Arabic language television network, said the attack was in retaliation for last week's Israeli attack on Al-Daba military airport in Al-Qusair area of Homs. The station says that the attack on Al-Daba had led to the martyrdom of 2 people who linked to Iran's resistance access, quote-unquote, which means pro-Iran groups such as Hezbollah or other militias. Iran has been blamed for a number of attacks on Israeli tankers in its surrounding waters over the past number of years. 2019, 2 oil tankers, the Front Altair and the Kukaku Courageous, were attacked by torpedoes and burst into flames off the coast of Iran. Baklava-clad Iranian commandos seized the British tanker Stena Impero last year. In 2020, Iranian ships were attacked at least 6 times, The Telegraph reports. Since February, attacks between Israel and Iran have soared after Israel accused crude oil tanker Emerald of carrying out an quote-unquote eco-terrorist attack when it split oil that covered 100 miles of Israeli beaches in thick tar. The attack came weeks after Iranian nuclear scientist Mohsen Fakhrizadeh was assassinated near the capital of Tehran. Iran vowed to strike like thunder after it blamed Israel for the assassination. Fakhrizadeh was often compared with Robert Oppenheimer, the American physicist who oversaw the effort to build the atomic bomb in the 1940s, and has also been dubbed the nuclear Qasem Soleimani. Spokesperson for the Israeli military told The Guardian at the time, quote-unquote, we don't comment on reports in the foreign media. In June, Iran's largest Navy ship caught on fire after a mysterious blast in the quote-unquote engine room. The ship burned for 20 hours in the Gulf of Oman before sinking. Tehran-based defenses and security expert Hossein Dalirian said speculations about attacks on the ship are not true, quote-unquote. There's a lot of quotes and unquotes in this. This happened due to a technical defect in the engine room, he tweeted. Iranian state media also suggested an electrical fire may have broken out shortly after 2 a.m. But the attack on Mercer Street marks the first known fatal attack after years of assaults on commercial shipping in the region linked to tensions with Iran over its tattered nuclear deal. Iran's ambassador to London, Mohsen Baharavand, said last week that there had been 11 attacks on Iranian cargo so far this year. 3 attacks on container ships have been made public. But it's not just physical attacks that have dominated the conflict. In May 2020, Iran's port of Shahid Raji was hit with a cyber attack, causing all of the shipping lanes into a state of chaos. Iran has developed a large domestic arms industry in the face of international sanctions and embargoes, barring it from importing many weapons. Military analysis say Iran sometimes exaggerates its weapons capabilities, though concerns about its ballistic missiles contributed to Washington leaving the nuclear pact. And that's it, guys. I would say that with all that given in the next, who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks between Iran and Israel. But the UK involved now, we're inching closer and closer, guys, for sure. I have other information too. Apparently they're getting ready to have some kind of Russian forces have entered into China to do training with them. Land forces have just started entering China so they can train together. And apparently that's the first time in history Russian military has entered into China and started training. Guys, God bless you. Keep your heads up. Keep praying. Peace. No,